Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's Nettie Liddell. I am Brett Chapin, and we are talking with acting coach Andrea Tate. If you have any questions for Andrea, go ahead and give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. And thanks so much for being here, Andrea.
You're welcome. It's great to be here, Brett and Nettie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So, Andrea, you are an acting coach. You're heavily involved with the Santa Paula Theater Center. Is that right?
That's correct.
How did you get involved with them?
Oh, it's a funny story. How much time do I have?
You got some time. Go ahead.
Well, I started off as an actor 24 years ago, and I was asked to come to the Santa Paula Theater Center as an actor originally, and that was 6 years ago. And a colleague of mine was directing a play there. I never sang for my father, and said, I have a great part for you in a play in Santa Paula. And I said, Santa what? What? Where? I never even heard of that place. So he said, it's not that far. I live in Agora Hills now, so it's in between LA, and I mostly did theater in LA and originally New York. So I said, I don't know. That sounds really far. If I've never heard of it, it has to be really far. So he convinced me to go there, and I'm driving, and you're driving through, it's a beautiful drive, but you're driving through farms and just farms and farms. And I'm thinking, who is going to see theater out here? I just don't get this. So I come out there, and before he even really offers me the part, I'm supposed to be auditioning. He says, so what do you think? I said, I just don't know. This is far. This is really far. I'm gonna, can somebody pick me up? Can somebody drive me there? So I made this big ordeal about working there as an actor because it was just so far, and ended up. They talked me into it, and I did it. And then after that, they asked me to direct a play there because they had seen a play that I directed in LA, the artistic director there. And they said, we really love the play you directed in LA. Would you like to direct for us? And then I directed Enchanted April there, and that was a great hit. And then after that, they asked if I wanted to teach. Oh.
I'm sorry. Can we get the music turned off, guys? Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I see Brett waving. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's he
I'm
waving
like,
at? Am I not looking in the right place here?
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway, so I that's how it started. I went out there as a disgruntled actor and started directing, and then they didn't have anybody there teaching classes. So I said, hey, how come you don't have anyone teaching classes? And they said, we just don't. Would you like to? And then I started teaching there and directing.
So how long have you been there for?
I've been there for about 6 years now.
And who do you teach the classes to?
I know, right?
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it like that.
They trade strawberries for acting lessons. No.
Sounds like a
Santa
good deal.
Paula is gorgeous. It really is.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. There's a huge art community there.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
It's interesting because I had an adult class first, and then I was getting calls for kids. Mm-hmm. And so then I started a kids class. And now we have a hybrid of adults and kids, and it's been fantastic. At first I thought it would be hard. I have to sort of edit the type of material I bring into class. But it's been neat because I can do scenes where it's a family. So and a child can work with an adult, and it can be a father-son relationship. And the kids really learn how to be professional because they're sitting there with adults that are actors, and they really learn how to work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great. I didn't think it would work, but it's really working out well.
And what's your philosophy as an acting coach? What would you say is the most important thing for your students to learn?
I think the most important thing, my acting technique is called organic acting, and
organicacting.com.
Organicacting.com is my website. But I think, to answer your question, Brett, the most important thing is that you're listening. You're listening on stage. You're listening to the other person. And isn't that the most important thing in life, too? Listening to each other,
Sure.
Validating each other's feelings. So if you have an actor on stage that's listening to the other person, they're being affected by the other person, they're reacting to the other person, that's really all you need to do. But if you're not there listening and you're in your head, you're thinking about your lines, you're not affecting the audience, you're not having those little nuances between the other actor on stage. So I would say listening is the most important thing, and that's Sanford Meisner's philosophy. Listen, be in the moment. So I would say organic acting, for me, is a combination of following your own impulses and listening, and I use a little bit of sense memory in the method. so that you're doing backstories and finding out how you feel through your senses. So it's a combination of all that.
Would you say that you're Meisner influenced more than
Definitely Meisner. I originally studied the method, Stanislavski, but then I studied Meisner, and I also studied Uta Hagen's technique. And I would say I take something from each one.
Mm-hmm. How would you respond to the people that are that don't like the technique and say, well, I act. I don't need a technique. I just act. How would you respond to somebody who says that a technique isn't necessary?
Well, you know what? If you're a sensitive, vulnerable person, and also brave and likable and have an open, for lack of a better word, open heart, or you're just open and available on stage, then great. That's what we want to see. So yeah, maybe you don't need any acting technique, but a lot of times with acting technique, we're just trying to open you up and get you to be yourself.
Sure.
Get you to be your organic self.
Which might be the hardest part of acting.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So how difficult is it to get people to listen?
On stage?
Just in general in class?
It's hard.
It is?
It's hard because they're going up there, they're going up on the stage, and they're coming with a lot of stuff up there. They're thinking, I want to do really good for the teacher. I want to, and my class is so non-judgmental, but you still want to, you want to do a good job. So they're coming up with, I want to do a good job. I don't want to stink. What are my lines? Am I going to sound stupid? You have such a dialogue going on in your head. And so the last thing you're thinking is to listen to the other person. And so I try to tell students, just get out of your head and focus on that other person. And your whole body relaxes after that because it's not your job anymore. You don't have the job of worrying about everything yourself. You're just listening and responding. Sanford Meisner said, acting is reacting. It's not acting, it's reacting to the other person. So your job is just to be present and listen to that other person and then respond.
Absolutely.
Your class seems like a really safe place.
Yeah.
Safe atmosphere to be.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's
important.
just so nice to see people get in touch with their feelings and connecting with one another and having fun. And, I just think it's the greatest profession. It's such an admirable thing to get into because you are learning to get in touch with your feelings and in touch with who you are and being a more open person to other people. And
I'll ask you what we usually ask a lot of our guests, but you could probably answer it better than most. Being an acting coach, we get a lot of listeners from other areas of the country looking to come out to LA and pursue their dreams of working in the entertainment industry. What advice would you give them?
Make sure you really want to do this, that there's nothing else you want to do, that it really is something you just want to do. There's nothing else because it's not easy. It's super rewarding and it's so much fun, but it's not easy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it has to be something that lives in your heart, I think.
Yeah.
Amen.
We'll be back with Andrea Tate on La La Land with Brett and Nett on CRN Digital Talk.
Thank you.
Do you own a car